It's the top of the hour. Putting the U in HBCU. We are HSRN. You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Hello, everybody. It's another great episode of Green Talk for Brown Folks, GTBF. It's your host, Ryan Marshall. I'm so very excited to be back here. It's our first episode of 2022. Happy New Year to all of you out there. I know that 2021 was quite an interesting year, and now we're into a new year. You can just kind of wipe the slate clean. You have your resolutions. You know, whether you hit the resolutions or not, I guess that's a different conversation for a different day. But we all mentally, emotionally kind of hit the reset button. I know I did, and I am really ready to go. In 2022, we've got all of these great ideas, and I want to kind of hit the ground running because one of the biggest conversations that I get is talking about buying a car and buying, you know, an automobile and things like that for your family. That's one of the biggest purchases that you can ever have. And so we're going to talk about that today on Green Talk for Brown Folks. This is the first episode of 2022. And I have somebody that is a special guest here today that's going to break some of this down for you. Is a very good friend of mine. My wife and I, we just love this family. And when you talk about Southern hospitality, they are, you know, you'll see their names and their pictures right next to them, that whole Southern hospitality thing, in the dictionary. And this gentleman, he's the director of new cars at Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. His name is Jeff Layne. What's going on, Jeff? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, Ryan. How about yourself?
Oh man, I'm fantastic, man, and Happy New Year to you, man.
Happy New Year, man. I'm just happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. You are an expert at the car business, man. Before we kind of get into the nuts and bolts, man, just so people can kind of get a feel for who you are, just give them a little taste of who Jeff Layne is, you know, how you came up and where you're from and how you got into the car business and the car industry.
All right. Well, Ryan, my name is Jeffrey Layne from Chicago, Illinois. I've been down in Huntsville for about 18 years now. The funny thing is, when I first came down here, my initial plan was not to get in sales, and it definitely was not to get into the car business. I really didn't know what I wanted to do, but I know I wanted to do something. I wanted to do something important. I wanted to change lives, and I wanted to put smiles on faces. So after a while of being down here, I started to go for real estate, and I noticed I'd never been in sales before. So I wanted some experience, and I saw an ad in the paper. So I went in, got into the business to get a little sales experience, and I fell in love from the first day. You know, just delivering that first car, seeing the smiles on customers' faces, and knowing that I could actually change someone's life. I mean, it was just amazing for me. And here I am. You know, I've been in the business now. I got in the business when I was 20 years old, and I'm 37 now. So I've been doing it for about 17 years. Mm-hmm. And I started from the ground up, man, just grinding hard for customers, wanting to change lives and wanting to make people happy. And it's worked out well. You know, I didn't treat it as just a sales business or just a sales industry. I treat it as a career, as it is, you know. So I'm here now, and I enjoy it, and I love what I do.
Director of new cars is a long way from just being a salesperson. So that means that you've helped a lot of families and you've changed a lot of lives. And I tell you, you get that new car smell in your nostrils, man. It's a different experience, man. What is that experience like when you show people a car or you sit down and you help fulfill a need, whether somebody has a growing family and they go from a car to an SUV, or maybe they're downsizing. So it's kind of one of those things you're kind of helping to guide them in their lives, like in that way.
Yeah, Ryan. Because the average person that walks into a dealership, they don't know most of the time exactly what they want. They don't know. They just feel like they need a new vehicle, and everybody has different needs. Whether it's more space for their family, better technology, better fuel mileage, or just something that's a lot safer. Everybody has a different reason for why they're there. And my direct role and my position and what I like to do is to help people out and find out what their true needs are, and find out that to help them find a vehicle that can be well into their budget and make the process easy. Because the history of our business, it's always been a hard process, whether it be from the role as a customer coming in, feeling like they got a battle with the dealership over pricing, negotiating, finding out how much they should pay for a vehicle. We just like to make things easier, and I love to assist in doing that. The process of buying a car has become a lot easier over the years, where it used to be hard. So things are great now.
That's awesome. And I got to give full disclosure to all the people out there. I've purchased 2 cars from you guys and getting ready to purchase a 3rd car. You guys,
yes.
As a matter of fact, all of the car buying experiences that I've been across the United States or different car makers, you guys are the best, and you've taken care of me and my family, and I really do appreciate that. So I just have to say that, full disclosure, these guys have really been good to me.
Thank you. And hey, you were that customer, right? You all came in. You were unsure what you wanted. And we sat down and we found a way to make things work a lot easier.
Yep,
right?
You did.
And that's what I want to do for a lot more people. A lot more people. Just help them and guide them through the process and make things a lot easier.
I'm so excited that Jeff Layne, Director of New Car Sales at Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama, is here talking with us. We're going to dive a little bit deeper into buying a car, and a lot of people have this question: do you buy a car or do I lease it? We're going to start off and we're going to talk about that. That's one of the big questions here that can kind of affect your flow of money. So we're going to talk about that. Jeff's going to break it down. We've got the expert. I'm going to start calling him the car king of the South, man, because he really, really does it. And then we talk about this is a minority-owned business. We'll dive into that when we come back with GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Welcome back, everybody, to Green Talk for Brown Folks. I'm your host, Ryan Marshall. We're talking to Director of New Car Sales, Jeff Layne, out of Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. We're going to give you his information. You can give him a call, but we're going to kind of, at the end of the show, we're going to kind of dive in just to some nuts and bolts here. I think one of the basic questions that you may hear somebody when they're looking to get a car is, should I buy or should I lease? Can you kind of explain to the listeners out there the difference between buying or financing a car versus leasing a car, maybe just some of the advantages that maybe each of them may have?
Yeah, Ryan, it's always been a fear from a lot of people of leasing vehicles, just because of the horror stories they've heard in the past, whether it be, when I turn my vehicle in, how much will I owe? What will I have to pay to the dealer? What will I have to pay out of pocket? Is it going to be more expensive than it is if I just buy it straight out? I always tell people, when you're looking at that decision of leasing, of purchasing, base it off your needs. How are you going to use the vehicle? How is that vehicle going to be for you? Are you going to keep it for a long time? Because some people do. My wife, she buys a car, she holds on to it. Me, I like to be in a new car. I like the new smell. I like the new gadgets. I love technology. I love the evolution of the automobile. So I like to get a new vehicle often. So for me, leasing is perfect. It just depends on how you're going to be using the vehicle, how long you plan on keeping it, because they both have their advantages, right? You purchase an automobile. Both of them, you have to make monthly payments unless you write a check. So under either way, you don't own the vehicle until you get the title to that vehicle. And that's one of the things a lot of people make the biggest mistake on, when they're making that decision. They say, well, I want to purchase the vehicle because I own that vehicle. Well, you miss a payment and we'll see who really owns it.
Right, exactly. Miss a couple
really
payments.
Owns that vehicle, but after so many years, the manufacturer warranty goes out on the straight purchase, and that's some of the things we have to think about. So your cost of ownership tends to go up. It's not as low as you think it is. It can tend to be a little bit higher. Whereas when you lease a vehicle, if you do it within that factory warranty, you can be covered for all expenses throughout your ownership of your time of driving that vehicle. You pay for what you use in the lease. You're only paying for what you use. So if you want to use that vehicle for 3 years in the lease, that's what you're paying for. Whereas in a purchase, if you're going to use it for 3 years, you still have a balance you have to pay off on the lease. You turn it in, you move on to another vehicle.
That's interesting because I think a lot of people, like you said, they may not understand that even when you're buying the vehicle, you still have a title and you still have a lien holder on that title.
That's right.
And when that car if you don't pay the payment after a month or two, then that lien holder, they can come after that car, say, hey, this is our car. You have not made the payments. And they'll just take it and do what they need to do, sell it, auction it off, whatever. I think it just, like you said, it depends on what you're trying to do. And I think that's a great point that you really made. And so I think one of the big things that people probably could do, and maybe you could back me up on this, is not just determining if they want to buy or lease, but then also to what they can really afford. There are families that may be challenged either by credit or might not have a lot of cash to put towards a car, but they still want to drive. They still want to have something nice to make them feel good. So what are some of those programs that maybe you do have, or some of the ways that you help people that might be credit challenged or might be cash challenged or may not have any cash to put down on a vehicle? Are there special programs, and how do you help them, like we say, putting dreams in the driveway?
Yeah. What we like to do with a lot of customers is take time out and find out, one of the things I like to do is take time out and find out where they are, what help, what guidance they may need in the buying process. And those that's worried about credit, I tell them when they come to me, don't worry about that. I got you. There's a lot of programs out there that lending institutions have, where they're giving forgiveness to people who's made mistakes in the past and has had hardships in the past and need another chance. So I tell people a lot of times, do not let your credit determine whether or not you're going to visit the dealer. Come in. Definitely come to us, right? Landers McLarty Chevrolet. Give us a call. Come see us. Let us know what you need. Let us know how we can assist, and see me. And I got different programs, different avenues that we can go to make sure that you don't just suffer from high interest rates. A lot of times, I like to put people in affordable situations. Make sure that they're purchasing a vehicle that's affordable for them, whether it's for that vehicle. Can be that vehicle that can allow them to put themselves in a position where they can rebuild them credit at an affordable rate, and then move on to different vehicles in the future that they are desiring at the time that may be out of reach. So, yeah, there are programs for that. Just sit down with your dealer, let them know where you are. That way they can assist you properly, you know.
That's great. And just to kind of piggyback off of what you're saying, I think a good rule of thumb for some people is don't spend any more than 20% of their monthly household income on a new car. So if they're bringing in $2,000 a month, then $400 of a payment should be the max. You know, if they're bringing in a little bit more, you know, then, you know, I think it's so important not to over spend on what you have. So then that way you can stay in a vehicle, not be in a situation like that. Would you agree with something like that?
Absolutely, you know, absolutely. A lot of times I see people trying to purchase, and I don't dictate what someone purchases. You know, if it's what you want and it's what you want to go for, but a lot of times, I mean, these days these lenders aren't going to let you get in over your head. But I tell a lot of people, you're right. You know, that's a good rule of thumb. You know, 20% of your income. You know, if you're at 2,400, I always like to say play it safe, right? If 400 is your threshold, maybe we need to look at 350, 375. Let's cut it back a little bit. A lot of people think the dealers want you to pay more. We don't. I want you to pay as little as possible. The less you pay, the more you have in your pocket. The happier you are, the happier we are, and that's the name of the game, right? Two parties are happy. We see each other again. So yeah, definitely. That's a great rule of thumb. Excellent rule of thumb.
Yeah, you know, I think it's so important, and it's nice to know that you guys have programs like that, because a lot of people, and I used to have rough credit, you know, it would keep me from even thinking about, I can't do this, I can't do that. And then when I first got in and got that first real nice vehicle, it was just like, wow, I could have this, you know, I could do this, and it was pretty affordable, you know, and so that it's good to know, for sure. Really is good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, and that's one of the main things, right? Taking care of that credit. You know, taking care of that credit, making sure you're handling that properly, because that becomes king, right? I tell a lot of people that becomes king. You know where you are. Know where you are. Have knowledge of where you are credit-wise. Know what the industry standards are as far as what they're looking for, so you can qualify for different programs, so you can qualify for special buying programs. Know those things. And take care of your credit so you can be part of it. It's a lot of times that's what makes the buying process the hardest, you know, not having the credit to move forward in the process.
Very sound advice there. We're talking to Jeff Layne. He's the director of new cars at Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. I'm going to start calling you the car king of the South, man. You guys are doing some major things at that store, man. And every time I look up, it's Landers McLarty. You guys are don't get me the line, number one in sales in Alabama.
We're big, man. Yeah, we have one of the largest groups. We're a big minority-owned store. As you know, the group has been around for a while. It's actually the Landers McLarty Chevrolet group falls under RML Automotive, which that, as some people don't know, but the chairman of the board of that group is actually Robert L. Johnson. You know,
Black Enterprise?
Yes. As we know, he's the previous owner and the founder of Black Entertainment Television, which is known as BET Network. He started that, amongst other things. He's owned a lot of businesses that falls under the RLJ group, from hotels to automobiles. And he has this he started this company along with Thomas Mack McLarty, who's actually a fourth-generation dealer who the company actually just celebrated 100 years. The McLarty family has been in the business for 100 years now. It started back in 1921 in Arkansas. So the group definitely has strong backbone behind it. We're definitely strong into the community. We believe in pushing the community, pouring into the community as much as we can. And we're just happy to be here, man, and just serve everyone and put dreams in driveways. That's what we like to do.
That's amazing. We're talking with new car director of new car sales. I don't want to diminish your role and your title. You've worked hard for that, man, and helped a lot of families. Director of new car sales, Jeff Layne. Director of new car sales at Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. Really happy that he's come on and had a chance to share some really good knowledge, man. We're going to go to a commercial break, but we're coming up with segment number 3. Is there really a better time to buy when it comes to getting cars? Jeff will talk about it. That'll be on the other side of that break. Segment 3, GTBF, Green Talk for Brown Folks. We'll be right back.
You are listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN.
Welcome back, everybody, to Green Talk for Brown Folks. I'm your host, Ryan Marshall. I'm here talking with new car director of new car sales, Jeff Layne. He's director of new car sales at Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama, minority-owned dealership, and they are doing some great things and serving a lot of people. I do want to ask you this because I do kind of get this from time to time. Is there a good time and a bad time to buy a car? Any thoughts on that? A better time to buy a car? Or is it you guys just helping people, helping families that it doesn't really matter per se, or?
It doesn't. I say the best time is when you're prepared. The best time is when you're prepared. The worst time is when you have to. You're back against the wall.
Right.
Get out there. Do it ahead of time. Do not wait. We have been taught to hold on to them till the wheels fall off. Well, by the time you do that, it's too late. Right? Do it ahead of time. Proper planning. Plan it properly. People used to say, wait till the end of the month. Wait till the end of the year. No. If you prepare, you walk into the dealer. If the programs are right for you, you go for it. You get the automobile you're looking for. In these times, it's get the automobile you're looking for if it's there.
Absolutely.
So it's no perfect time. The perfect time is when you're ready and when you are prepared.
That's good to know. That's very good to know. And I think a lot of people have always thought, hey, if I get in, last of the month, they're trying to hit their numbers. They're going to give the best deals and whatnot. You haven't met Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama. You could get it on the 3rd of the month. You can get it on the 23rd of the month.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I want to see you any day.
Absolutely. We have to keep this conversation going with Director of New Car Sales for Landers McLarty Chevrolet in Huntsville, Alabama, Jeff Layne. He's going to talk about some of the hot cars that they've got going on right now. And some people have some concerns about inflation, rising cost of cars, but maybe an unintended side effect that demand for vehicles is much higher and they're allowing more on trades? How is that possible? Hey, we're going to talk to him about that coming up next week. You don't want to miss it. But for this week and for everybody here listening, thank you so much, Jeff, and we'll bring him back next week. I'm Ryan Marshall, your host of Green Talk for Brown Folks. We'll see you again next week. Happy New Year.
Thanks for listening to Green Talk for Brown Folks with Ryan Marshall on HSRN. Follow Ryan's social media on Twitter at Ryan H. Marshall and on Instagram, RHM WealthWave. You can also connect with him via email at ryan.marshall@howmoneyworks.com. That's ryan.marshall@howmoneyworks.com. Join him next Friday at 1 p.m. for another edition of Green Talk for Brown Folks.